Quad routine's always the same. So my quad routine, I kind of have a limited amount of work I do. I don't do a lot of volume, if you guys know. I train legs as a whole with biceps. So I go in the gym and I always hit my hamstrings first. I'll do 2 to 3 exercises on hamstrings before I even start doing leg extensions and stuff. So I always start with leg extensions. I do 2 sets, prime leg extension, normally around 20 rep mark. I follow that up with either a single leg press, a hack squat or a squat. So basically any of the multi-joint movements that are compound. Again, 2 sets, rep range can be anywhere between 10 and 15. And then I'll follow that with whatever I didn't do. So if I did a hack squat, but I didn't do a press, I might follow up with a press. If I did a press and not a hack squat, then I might follow up with a hack squat. A single leg movement as well, being a press. So there's always basically 2 presses in my workout after the extension. And it's only 5 set total, so it's 2 sets of extension, 2 sets of the first exercise, 1 set of the last one all out. So I only do 1 real all out set in the workout, and that's the last set of the last quad movement. Same thing on hamstrings. I do, maybe seated hamstring, lying hamstring, either RDL or standing hamstring. And it'll be 2-2-1. I think another thing that's important to take note of is that you should train your abductors, at least do 1 heavy set per workout. I think that makes a difference with quads. From front shots and stuff like that, just like having that thickness. Our machine at the gym's broke at the minute, it keeps getting broke, it's pissing me off. Because I'm like, fuck's sake, I need big legs, and you're stopping me from getting big legs, and it means I kind of feel like I need to go to another gym, but I like the atmosphere of my gym. So I think the main thing is not the exercise I'm doing, it's the quality of the reps. So the range of motion, if you watch me train legs, I always go really deep on a hack squat, and I go slow and controlled. What are the specs of your gaming PC? My CPU is an AMD Ryzen 9 5950X 16 core processor. My RAM, 31.9159 gigabyte. My GPU is the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080 Ti. I was going to get a 3090, but I know there's not really much point yet because this is still good. VRAM is 2.01433 gigabyte / 11.7 gigabyte. And my GPU driver version is 51295. So when you said, are you team green or team red? I assumed I was team green because I have the GeForce and NVIDIA 3080 Ti, but then my CPU is AMD. So does that make me team green and red? I don't know, I'm not super techie when it comes to computers, guys. Basically, I have a friend called Mitch, who's a really good online gamer. We met playing Warzone when COVID hit and we had the lockdown. I made a lot of new friends in that time online, which was really cool. It was a great time, even though it was a bad time. We were literally like getting on to Warzone, the first one, and we were playing till like the early hours in the morning. I mean, like 3 o'clock. My neighbours were knocking on this wall because my PC used to face this way and I used to shout. They've moved out now. But they got evicted. They weren't paying their bills, so don't worry, it's not because of my noise. Yeah, it was like a good time. So Mitch is my kind of IT guy, helps me with everything. My way of repaying Mitch for all the help he does, because he set up my Discord, he set up my streaming, he helped me like set up my Twitch account. I basically bought 2 PCs. So I bought the PC I have, and you heard the specs there, and then I got him one as well so that he can have fun. But also, like, if I need anything done, I know I can hit him up and he has the ability to get things done, whether it be like a graphic. Often, like, I just get him to team viewer into my PC and help me fix things, because one thing I didn't realise about gaming on a PC is that the amount of updates and things that can go wrong versus a console. As you can see, I do have a PS5. Not a lot goes wrong with that. When a console needs an update, it just tells you and you just press yes. Whereas on PC, yeah, it will let you know you need a driver update and whatnot, but there's so many things that change settings-wise that sometimes it's hard to keep on top of. I spend a lot of time in here, guys. This is like my safe haven. Over the years, growing up, I always just liked having my own little space like most people do, and being a homeowner and earning a relatively good living and just being able to customize your private space into some way that you just like being. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Some people are like, why do I spend so much time at home? And you spend time where you want to spend time, and if that place so happens to be your home, then so be it. This is actually acoustic paneling. Just very thin, but I actually like the kind of look, it gives the wall a nice dark look, so when I'm on a call on Zoom or TeamViewer or whatever it may be, I have a nice black background and I look like I've got a floating head because of my beard. So what keeps you grounded? Do you do anything for mental health? I think that relates to what we've just said about the space. It's a lot easier to have good state of mind if you have somewhere to retreat to, which a lot of people see as a problem. I know that I had this conversation with Juji Mufu, we did on the circles, and it was like, sometimes he thinks that a safe place is something that can prevent you from developing. And I do get that, because you always retreat when in fear of something new or a potential danger of change. But at the same time, I feel like it's good to go back to somewhere that you feel safe, recollect your thoughts, breathe, and then recommit. In bodybuilding, this is why we have meals off, because it's like a way to reset and go again. I'm not a firm believer in that you should always push forward in your life. I think that's when you come to a point where burnout will occur, or just over-exertion, and we all know, without having to be super smart, that overexertion is a bad thing. We're humans at the end of the day, and no one can continually push forever, whatever it may be. So I really think to have a good mindset, that we have to have somewhere to retreat to in order to collect our thoughts. Is my mindset perfect? No, I have my bad days. I've had days this year where I've kind of commented to Yannicka saying I think I need, some help on a professional level, because there's so much going around my head that it's hard to make sense of sometimes. The pressures of wanting to do your best, whether it be the bodybuilding or just anything in life. Again, these conversations aren't just about, because I'm a bodybuilder. They refer to and relate to people on all levels, and I know a lot of you guys do relate to the things that are said, and that's why I think it's important to say them. My advice on that literally would just be to create somewhere that you like to be. Choose your circles wisely, because you want encouragement from people and you want positivity. I think there's nothing wrong in positivity. I just think nothing bad comes of it. Even if a small bit of smoke's blown up your ass, because at the end of the day, smoke's blown up your ass and you don't succeed, but your friends are still there to support you even after. That's better than people blowing smoke up your ass that disappear. You need those people that will be by your side no matter what, the real people. So choosing real people is important. I think everyone should always uplift and see the potential in people. I'm not saying everyone should say that you can be the best. As cheesy as it sounds, as always, you can be your best, and your best is exceptional. Again, whether it be a career or a hobby or just a personal challenge, no one except yourself should say that you can't. I don't think it's anyone's place to say you can't. I've had it in my bodybuilding, I've had shows where I've not done well and I've been written off by people, and it's very frustrating and it makes me angry, because of my beliefs as a person is that you should never do that. If I saw someone of a quality like a bodybuilder that I know can do well and then they have a bad year, I wouldn't write them off. I'm just letting them go to work and see what happens and see if they can come back, because it's possible. You just totally relax, absolutely fine. It's going to help you with success. What's your take on physiotherapy and bodybuilding? So if any of you follow me on Instagram, Hollingshead89, if you don't, I get physio every week. I literally purely just get a deep tissue all over, because it's just maintenance for me, because I don't actually have any particular issues. I say that because I think that's why I don't have any particular issues, because I've prevention is better than cure. I try to get the physio done so that I stay supple, the joints, the muscles, everything stays nice and loose. No real knots, no real issues. If I was to have any pain, then I could identify it during those sessions and then deal with it. I don't want to get to a point where I'm doing something in the gym and I'm like, that doesn't feel right, or something goes. So I personally think it's really smart to try and at least see someone once a week. I'm not a firm believer in chiropractors and stuff like that. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I just know that it's a lot of money and seemingly not a lot of return on your investment. Whereas I feel like manual physio, I tend to feel more benefit from. They spend more time with you, they converse with you more about what issues are happening, and they don't rush you out their offices. Yeah, definitely again, it's budget dependent, so even if you can only get it once a month, I'd still advise it. As frequently as you can would be great, but I'd say no more than once a week. There's no point. Every few days I need to see physio, then something's definitely wrong with the training or your body. Were you athletic growing up? What sports did you do? I tried to be athletic. I don't know if I was. Obviously, you guys know I used to inline skate. I used to do gymnastics at school. Not that I was very good. I used to do all this football on Saturdays. I used to like swimming. I used to do, a few things. Definitely tried to get involved. I wasn't the best at any one particular sport, for sure, but I was always up there. I could always hang with everybody. It wasn't until I went to the gym that I started to actually find my place. But yeah, I'm pretty athletic. Even it's carried over to now. Considering when I've been skating, I've skated at over 300 pounds and been able to, jump from so high to so high and pull off certain tricks that probably should be pulled off at that weight. My favourite thing growing up sport-wise, I used to love boxing. I really used to love boxing. I was really adamant I was going to be a boxer when I grew up, and I used to go to Rose Hill Boxing Club, which is a local one to me, and then they moved from there to a place called the Phoenix Centre, and I used to go there. But once it moved to the Phoenix Centre, which was a leisure centre, it didn't feel the same. It wasn't a sweaty hardcore environment like it used to be. But I used to like that, and a few of my friends were really good boxers. I was just a massive fan of watching Mike Tyson VHSs back in the day, and that's why I actually started weights, because Mike Tyson. So my real reason for starting weights was Mike Tyson, because I was watching him box and I was like, why is he so much bigger than everybody else in terms of his musculature? And my head was it must be weights. It's got to be weights. Food and weights. I used to see him there's a couple of videos of him eating out of a massive bowl when he was young with his coach, the older gentleman that passed away. So I watched that and I was like, well, he's eating loads of pasta or something and he's training. He's got to be doing weights. I didn't see him doing weights, but I thought he was. Is when I started doing weights alongside the boxing. So I actually boxed first. But the weights kind of started to take over more time, because it takes time, it's not a fast thing. And I had friends in the gym that I'd met. I began enjoying spending time around. So therefore the transition occurred where I'd spend more time in the gym versus the boxing. And one of my friends that I met was a young bodybuilder. He was a junior bodybuilder competing at the time. I obviously went and saw him compete at a couple of shows, and I can't say I instantly fell in love with bodybuilding or anything, but I enjoyed how like cult it was at the time, how like not many people knew about it, and it was very exclusive, which is why I used to like inline skating as well, because aggressive inline was very insane. I never really fit into the conventional sports like the footballs, the rugbies, and what everyone else was doing, because I think I thought in my head that I'm not very good at things, so I probably won't have a chance of being good at this if everyone's doing it. And that's just me being real. So I was like, I'm going to find something a bit niche that I can become great at. I think I just felt more confident in bodybuilding because it felt like I wasn't racing against everybody. It felt like it was much more close-knit. Different story now. Jesus, like if I was to know that bodybuilding was going to become as broad as it is now and as open to the world, I probably would have been too scared to start, because I would have felt like I'm going to fail. I've never really said this before, and I've never really thought about it, but that is very interesting even in my own ears, because it makes a lot of sense. I was looking for an easy way out, an easy way to find success. Not an easy way, but a less competitive way. And I felt that if bodybuilding's a far niche sport and there's less of us, then I have much more of an opportunity to make something of it. And then, like I say now, it's like you can't go into a supermarket or a shop that doesn't sell a protein shake. The lifestyle is now everywhere. So I'm kind of just glad that I got started when I did, because I don't know if I would have been able to commit through fear now. So I suppose I do have some respect for people now who like all go in, and that's maybe why they're so aggressive. Because a lot of people that like start training now, have you noticed that they're really egotistical and aggressive? They're really like, ugh. Maybe it's because they have to put up the defense because they feel exactly how I felt when I was younger, but more so because of how competitive it is. You know, everybody's famous on Instagram for having six-pack. Everybody promotes a supplement brand. You know, everybody's the next Chris Bumstead. I can only imagine, you know, what that does to your psyche when you're in the gym. You probably have your guard up all the time. Because when I ask people, like, when people talk to me about bodybuilding in the gym, and they ask me, like, they don't even really ask me who I am or what I've achieved. They're just so quick to tell me what they're achieving. And if I were then to like be like, well, I've been on the Olympia stage and I've won multiple pro shows, they probably would just let it go in one ear and out the other, because they're too concerned telling me about what they're about to do. Sometimes I just want to humble people a little bit, not because I'm an arsehole, it's just because they just so in a rush, and it's like, I know like my level, and I know people that are far better than me. Like if Phil Heath talks to me, I listen. Branch Warren talks to me, I listen. But these guys don't really do that, and I think it's because they're on their like high horse in defense. Again, that's kind of steered off topic from that conversation, but I think it's a very good thing to talk about, and I'd be interested to know what you guys think. And I'm not saying it's everybody, there's some great people out there. It's just, as you know, the culture's grown and diversified and somewhat diluted, you do see these people that are coming in that aren't quite the same as us. And if they are, a lot of their emotion towards it's very amplified because of the competitive nature. Check out my Instagram post if you want to know what I'm talking about here as well. It's all kind of correlative, so stuff I speak about on there can come on here, and then do check out the YouTube as well, because you'll get a full insight of everything if you check out all the channels. I'll see you on the next one.